Okay, everybody, it's 3:14. Happy Pi Day. So this number 3.14, blah, 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 this never ending number. Let's use this for inspiration, for learning. So yes, learning is a lifelong process. Never stop learning, never stop finding new bits of information. So yes, Pi Day is a great day to learn something new. And we're all gathered together, and it's a rainy Wednesday morning. Here is the agenda for today. Let's welcome Jackie. Jackie has just recently joined us, moving up from 6A. So welcome everybody. You'll get to know the whole gang: Gracie, Claudia, Andres, Vera,
Thank
the
you.
whole gang, Christian. Yes. So um, that's what I wanted to start off with. I'm going to say Happy Pi Day, even though I'm not the math teacher. I'm still going to acknowledge it. All right. First thing we're going to do, we're going to practice using quotes in the champion assignment. For a few new students, this is, you don't know what the champion assignment is, but my colleague, Ashley, has recently posted an assignment. Some people were struggling with it, and I found a great tool to help people use quotes in their writing. So that's what we're going to start with. Then we'll have a nice discussion about cultural differences at work. The story we're referencing, I think one or two of you will be familiar with it because I used this particular story for one lesson over the summer, but I'm bringing it back because it's a great point for discussion. Then we'll take our 10-minute break, and then I'm going to introduce some vocabulary, and which I did not use the first time I introduced this story back in the summer. And then we will discuss the complexities of an American working in a French company titled When Eating at Your Desk is Forbidden. And that is the plan for today. All right. Any questions before we get moving? Negative. Let's do this thing. Okay. So here are some of the tools I found for, whoops, I'm going to go into the Google Classroom page. Here are some of the tools that I found with this assignment. Now, several students are struggling with this, but I'm going to use this tool I added to make life easy. So Ashley posted an assignment titled "Who is Your Champion?" And she asked everybody to answer 3 questions. Here they are. Who is your champion? Why? How did your champion change your life? And here's the detail in the instructions. Write a reaction of no more than 250 words. What does that mean, no more than 250 words? I'm going to call on somebody who knows exactly what it means. Doris, what does that mean, no more than 250 words?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah. Um, about can I talk about my my
Oh, you did a fabulous job, but not quite yet. You can share that in just a moment, but I want to
action?
clarify the instructions. What does Ashley mean when she said no more than 250 words?
Um, just a little bit um I don't know.
Right, exactly 250 words, right? More than 200, at least 250 words, or right under 250
Yes,
words, under or over.
don't pass the 250 words.
Exactly. So that's one thing I wanted to clarify with the instructions. No more than 250 words. It's very easy to to skim with your eyes the instructions. And then when you see this, think, oh, I have to write 250, at least 250 words for each question. Oh man, I'm going to be writing forever. It means don't exceed, don't pass 250 words. You can write less than 250 words for each question. Just make it a succinct, short paragraph. That's fine. It means don't write a book answering one single question.
Okay.
That's what that means.
Yes.
Because some students picked one question instead of all three, and then began giving a writing a long paper only on that one question. It was essentially 3 questions to describe. And yes, Doris, your writing was very inspiring, and I'll ask you to share your story in just a moment. But here's the tool that I added to complete this assignment. Initially, it was just a video of this Rita Pearson lecture. I added this tool. Gracie and Doris have experimented. It will help you use quotes. Gracie, can you tell everybody what is a quote? And I'm showing everybody with my fingers. A quote.
Give me no quote. It's like when you
Oh, I think you just cut out there.
is exactly what they said.
Your audio cut out, but I think you said it's when you sample what they said, right?
Yes, and when you
Yes,
copy
correct.
what they said, you copy exactly. You said they said data, and you mark that part.
Exactly. So yes, exactly. So using this tool, we're going to practice introducing quotes, and I'm showing in the left-hand margin, introducing quotes. So if you have a notebook ready right now, or if you just want to take a screenshot, I'm going to give you several tips in introducing quotes. Since you are telling the reader that this information came from this speaker, you can introduce it in a number of ways. For instance, you can try this, and everybody can practice speaking. I'm going to write an introduction to a quote. In her lecture, comma, Rita Pearson argued that, and I'm just going to put ... meaning you would put a quote there. So just as practice, everybody can follow me with this speaking exercise. You can turn your microphones on. What I wrote there in the left-hand margin. In her lecture, Rita Pearson argued that. Go for it.
In her lecture, Rita Pearson argued that.
Thank you, Doris. Where'd everybody else go? One more time. In her lecture, everybody.
In her lecture.
In her lecture.
There we go. I heard Jackie and Israel. In her lecture, Rita Pearson argued that.
Rita Pearson
argued that.
Very good. All right. You could also use a way to introduce a quote. In Pearson's speech, she said, this is more of a casual, informal way to say it. In Pearson's speech, she said, everybody, in Pearson's speech, she said.
Pearson's speech.
In Pearson's speech, she said.
Excellent. Excellent. So another way you could introduce a quote is this. In the speech, quoting the title of the speech, every kid needs a champion. Rita Pearson made the argument that this one's a little longer. Okay, follow me. Here we go. In the speech,
In the
every
speech,
kid
every
needs
kid
a champion.
is a champion.
Rita Pearson
Rita
made the
Pearson
argument that. Okay,
made
everybody give it a
the
shot.
argument that
In the speech, every kid needs a champion. Rita Person made the argument that.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I heard, I heard a lot from Israel. I heard a lot from Christian. I heard a lot from Jackie and Doris. I'm going to keep these on the left-hand side as reference for introducing the quote. Now, here's my tool. You can use this video and of course put the closed captions on, but if you are quoting directly, it helps to have a transcript of the speech itself. And that's what this tool is. It's a transcript of her speech, which makes life a lot easier if you're quoting it in your writing. So when I open up this transcript, some of you have seen this before. So there she is. I see her video on the left side, but on the right side, tell me if it's too small for anybody to read. Can everybody see clearly? I can make it bigger if you need.
I can see clearly.
Okay,
It's too small for me.
too small, Claudia. Okay, thank you. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Here we go. Zooming in. Zooming in. Okay, there we go. Is that enough, Vera?
Yes, thank you.
You're most welcome. Anybody, if it's not clear on your screen, just let me know and I'll make it the words bigger. So this is a great tool from the TED website. It's the transcript. And what's great about this transcript is that you can follow along. And when you hear something that you want to use in your writing, you can stop and figure out a way to put it into your paragraph. So you've probably all listened to this all the way through. You've said, yeah, it's very inspiring. It's very nice. How do I write about it? And how do I put a quote into my paragraph to write about it? What am I going to do? Here's the trick.
I have spent my entire life either at the schoolhouse, on the way to the schoolhouse, or talking about what happens in the schoolhouse. Both my parents were educators. My maternal grandparents were educators. And for the past 40 years, I've done the same thing. And so needless to say, over those years, I've had a chance to look at education reform from a lot of perspectives. Some of those reforms have been good, some of them have been not so good. And we know why kids drop out. We know why kids don't learn. It's either poverty, low attendance, negative peer influences. We know why. But one of the things that we never discuss, or we rarely discuss, is the value and importance of human connection.
All right, so that's the first part of the speech. There's a lot there. And she says, you know, I came from a family of educators. I've been in this business for 40 years. And then she talks about the word reform. That was a vocabulary word. Who remembers what reform means? To reform, does that mean to stay the same or to change?
To change.
Correct. So to reform means to change. And she says, I've looked at education reform from a lot of perspectives. Perspectives means views, angles, ideas, opinions. Some of those reforms have been good. Some of them have not been good. And we know why kids drop out. What if I wanted to take something from that first paragraph? How could I use a piece of this opening this opening remark of her speech and put it into my paragraph? Tell me if this sounds good. And by the way, when I say tell me if this sounds good, I'm gonna do a really poor job of introducing the speech and using it. And I want you to tell me what's wrong with it. So here we go. What if I say, in the video, the lady said, we know why kids don't learn. It is true. Okay, this is a minimum effort when using a quote. What is wrong with this? What's missing with this?
The
All right,
author's name.
say it again.
The name of the author. Rita.
Yeah, exactly. Because remember, the reader of your writing has no idea what you're talking about. You have to remember this word from last week, CONTEXT. What is this?
Context.
There you go, Christian.
You need to bring details.
Beautiful. So yes, the reader has no idea what you're talking about. So we got to give some details. That's context. What else is wrong? At the end, I said, it's true. Did I prove a point?
It's just an opinion. It's
There
true.
you go.
You don't know.
There you go. There you go. It could be that could be, this looks like it's something that was said by like some crazy guy on the train
Mhm.
talking to himself. There is no, remember I introduced these two concepts, concrete language. Who remembers that from last week? Use concrete language.
It's like when you see someone said, 50% of the people are unsatisfied, but how do you know the 50%?
Exactly.
It's just an opinion.
Exactly. All of that's you got it, Gracie. So that's why I did that on purpose. I said it's true. Well, prove it.
Yes.
Prove it in your writing. It's true because, and then I need to give some factual argument. Or some rational argument for whatever it is I'm saying. That's concrete language. Excellent. So just using these sample introductions to a quote, and you don't have to say word for word, but I want you to get in the habit of introducing quotes from other writers. We're gonna go through different parts of the speech, and then I'll ask randomly individuals to introduce a quote as though you're putting it into your paragraph. So here we go. So she says the human connection, and then she says relationships. Okay, that's how she introduces her speech. What else is she going to say? Here we go.
Relationships. James Comer says that no significant learning can occur without a significant relationship. George Washington Carver says all learning is understanding relationships. Everyone in this room has been affected by a teacher or an adult. For years, I have watched people teach. I have looked at the best and I've looked at some of the worst. A colleague said to me one time, they don't pay me to like the kids. They pay me to teach a lesson. The kids should learn it. I should teach it. They should learn it. Case closed. Well, I said to her, you know, kids don't learn from people they don't like. She said, that's just a bunch of hooey. And I said to her, well, your year is going to be long and arduous, dear. Needless to say, it was. Some people think that you can either have it in you to build a relationship or you don't. I think Stephen Covey had the right idea. He said you ought to just throw in a few simple things, like seeking first to understand as opposed to being understood. Simple things like apologizing. You ever thought about that? Tell a kid you're sorry, they're in shock. I taught a lesson once on ratios. I'm not real good with math, but I was working on it. And I got back and looked at that teacher edition. I taught the whole lesson wrong. So I came back to class the next day and I said, look, guys, I need to apologize. I taught the whole lesson wrong. I'm so sorry. They said, that's okay, Miss Pearson. You were so excited. We just let you go. I have had classes that were so low, so academically deficient that I cried. I wondered, how am I going to take this group in 9 months from where they are to where they need to be? And it was difficult. It was awfully hard. How do I raise the self-esteem of a child and his academic achievement at the same time? One year I came up with a bright idea. I told all my students, you were chosen to be in my class because I am the best teacher and you are the best students. They put us all together so we could show everybody else how to do it. One of the students said, really? I said, really? We have to show the other classes how to do it. So when we walk down the hall, people will notice us. So you can't make noise. You just have to strut. And I gave him a saying to say, I am somebody. I was somebody when I came. I'll be a better somebody when I leave. I am powerful and I am strong. I deserve the education that I get here. I have things to do, people to impress, and places to go. And they said, yeah. You say it long enough, it starts to be a part of you. And so I gave a quiz, 20 questions. Student missed 18. I put a +2 on this paper and a big smiley face. He said, Miss Pearson, is this an F? I said, yes. He said, then why'd you put a smiley face? I said, because you on the roll. You got 2 right, you didn't miss them all. I said, and when we review this, won't you do better? He said, yes, ma'am, I can do better. You see, -18 sucks all the life out of you. +2 said, I ain't all bad.
Okay, so there were a lot of lines in there that got this charged reaction from the crowd. I want somebody to introduce one of these quotes. Now see everything here on this is how you use the tool. Notice you don't have to remember, you don't have to play with the video. If you're only using the video going back and forth, it's really hard because you might get it wrong because you're listening and then you put it into writing and maybe you go to the closed captions and sometimes the closed captions and the video are wrong because it's a computer doing it. It's already here on the right hand side. So it's easy for you. You take your quote, introduce it, and give some reasoning in your writing. Who wants to try? So that's about, I think, almost halfway through her speech. Who wants to try introducing one of her quotes? Something that she said in that first half. Introduce it and explain it with using the quote in the middle. Do I have a volunteer? Doris, did you use one of her quotes in yours?
Yes, teacher.
Which quote did you use?
Can you repeat again?
Which quote did you use?
Um Where? Sorry,
Oh,
teacher.
no, I asked, did you quote her speech in your writing? And you said yes. So I asked, which quote did you use? What did you say?
Maybe strong. I don't understand, teacher.
Oh, because remember, the challenge was to use quotes. And the
Yeah.
reason I added this is to make it easier for everybody to find quotes to use. And the reason I put these introductions to quotes on the left-hand side is so we could all practice. That's what we're all doing right now. And since you already finished this and you did a good job, I wondered which quote you used.
Mhm.
Can I try?
Yes.
Yes, Jackie. Okay.
She said that like I felt that she wants to empower the kids
There you go.
to be better,
There you go.
to learn like with other kind of style.
Mhm.
And then she said, Rita Pearson said, you are somebody. Everyone is somebody. I was somebody when I get here, so I'm gonna be somebody when I leave. So
Excellent. Okay. Good.
I don't remember. It was like,
Oh, here it is. Here's the quote. Here, this is where you can use it exactly. So what I want you to do is use one of these introductions, or you can paraphrase it in your own words. Introduce the quote, and then she said, and then you can use anything here. She said, oh wait, this is the part, this is the quote you want to use right there, right?
yep,
Okay.
yep.
So remember, the reader doesn't know the context of what you're talking about. So don't say the lady said or she said. Use one of these. In her lecture, Rita Pearson said, or Rita Pearson argued. In the speech, every kid needs a champion, Pearson made the argument that. Use one of those introductions for the quote. And then choose whatever you want. I'll underline, I think, it could be, you could say this, I am somebody, I was somebody when I came, I'll be a better somebody when I leave, whatever you want to say. So it's, as the writer, you can pick and choose, introduce it, put her quote in context, and then give a little explanation. Go for it, Jackie.
In the speech, every kid needs a champion. Rita Pearson made an argument that everybody deserves education. And when she said, I am somebody, I was somebody when I came here, and I'll be better I'll be better somebody when I leave.
I'll be a better somebody when I leave. Yes. All right, now give a little follow-up.
With my own words, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good argument for all the kids that wants to get better education, and all the parents who are compromised with the education. Something like that.
Then whatever you're on the right track. Yeah, you're on the right track. Doris, go for it.
I think she said every kid needs someone to inspiring for her life, to help the kids to be better, to encourage kids to be whatever he wants to be.
Where was that quote? Okay, that's everyone needs someone to inspire. Let's listen to the rest of it. I think that's in the second half somewhere. And then I want to hear how Doris used her quote. Here we go. Jackie, good job. Did everybody see how Jackie took one of the introductions to the quote I put on the left to give it some context, inserted what she said in the speech, and then followed it up with a little explanation. That's what you want to get in the habit of doing.
One of the students said, really? I said, really? We have to show the other classes how to do it. So when we walk down the hall, people will notice us. So you can't make noise. You just have to strut. And I gave him a saying to say, I am somebody. I was somebody when I came. I'll be a better somebody when I leave. I am powerful and I am strong. I deserve the education that I get here. I have things to do, people to impress, and places to go. And they said, yeah. You say it long enough, it starts to be a part of you. And so I gave a quiz, 20 questions. Student missed 18. I put a +2 on this paper and a big smiley face. He said, Miss Pearson, is this an F? I said, yes. He said, then why'd you put a smiley face? I said, because you on the roll. You got 2 right, you didn't miss them all. I said, and when we review this, won't you do better? He said, yes, ma'am, I can do better. You see, -18 sucks all the life out of you. +2 said, I ain't all bad. For years, I watched my mother take the time at recess to review, go on home visits in the afternoon, buy combs and brushes and peanut butter and crackers to put in her desk drawer for kids that needed to eat, and a washcloth and some soap for the kids who didn't smell so good. See, it's hard to teach kids who stink. And kids can be cruel. And so she kept those things in her desk, and years later, after she retired, I watched some of those same kids come through and say to her, you know, Miss Walker, you made a difference in my life. You made it work for me. You made me feel like I was somebody when I knew at the bottom I wasn't. And I want you to just see what I've become. And when my mama died 2 years ago at 92, there were so many former students at her funeral. It brought tears to my eyes, not because she was gone, but because she left a legacy of relationships that could never disappear. Can we stand to have more relationships? Absolutely. Will you like all your children? Of course not. And you know your toughest kids are never absent. Never. You won't like them all, and the tough ones show up for a reason. It's the connection, it's the relationships. And while you won't like them all, the key is they can never, ever know it. So teachers become great actors and great actresses, and we come to work when we don't feel like it, and we listen to policy that doesn't make sense, and we teach anyway. We teach anyway because that's what we do. Teaching and learning should bring joy. How powerful would our world be if we had kids who were not afraid to take risks, who were not afraid to think, and who had a champion? Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. Is this job tough? You betcha. Oh God, you betcha. But it is not impossible. We can do this. We're educators. We're born to make a difference. Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody. So let's have Doris. Doris, is it okay if I open up your document?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody get ready to be inspired. There we go. Okay, I want to see which quote you used. Oh, I don't see a quote here, but that's okay. But which quote were you thinking? You can summarize yours shortly. Which quote were you thinking of?
Um, mm, um,
I'll go back to
he,
that one.
he- I have, I put in my assignment, I put, he
You
never,
did?
he never, let me, he never made me give up.
Okay, so that is a summary. That's different from a quote.
Uh,
But everybody, be ready to be inspired. Doris, you want to give some context right here?
Um, my champion, was my therapist.
And we can be more distinct.
Um, my, physical therapist,
Yes.
yes.
All right. So to summarize what's incredibly inspiring by this person is that you were in a foreign country. It was a car accident, am I right?
Yes,
Car accident. Because imagine everybody, you travel to a foreign country, you don't know anybody, don't have any family, you get in a horrible accident, and you don't know what you're going to do. You wake up one day and you can't walk. This person became an inspiration for Doris, who is now an inspiration to a lot of people.
yes.
All right, and okay, now I've put words in your mouth. I will be quiet now. Doris, go ahead and tell your story.
I'm 7 years old. I had a car accident in my country. I evacuated to Portugal in 4 days, and I'm staying in hospital for 5 months to learn about um, my new life, to 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 trust myself, to to learn about when I go in a wheelchair and I go around. And my physical therapist helped me a lot because he say when I don't want to go to do my therapy, he came to the room to say, no, don't give up. You need to learn about your new life. And because I'm my son stay in Cape Verde, and I need to go to move on because I need to prepare to a new life with him. And my physical therapist is very important to me because he don't make me feel just because he's a therapist. Is he makes he make me strong, and he I I want when you say I have a new friend, because is he is very important to me. He don't feel me to give up. He say you can. I know it's hard, but you can't go around because you have a lot of things to do in your life.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. So your story hit the assignment perfectly, but there are no quotes. So I'm going to show you exactly right where we might relate it to the speech. Here it is. In Doris's words, we became friends, and what enchanted me was the fact that whenever I felt down, he didn't let me stay in the room crying. Great detail, great story about your physical therapist. Now, how could we relate this to one of her quotes in the speech?
Okay.
Because she said a lot. So Doris, was anything that she said relatable to this that you could recall?
Um, when he encouraged her kids to stay. She say, I'm a best teacher and you a best student. We can make together.
There you go. There you go. That taking the tough situation and
Yeah.
making it inspiring. So then somewhere in your writing, you could say, as Rita Pearson said, I told my students you were chosen to be in my class because I'm the best teacher and you're the best students. And some of the students said, really?
Yeah.
So that, does everybody see how this would be an appropriate quote for Doris's story?
Yeah.
I hear a lot of silence.
Yes, because she said in the beginning that she didn't know the person who existed inside, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So right now, I'm going to put everyone into some small groups, and I want everybody to try to use one of her quotes. And when I say her, Rita Pearson, try to access one of Rita Pearson's quotes to tell your story in that writing. Who is your champion? The assignment was, let's see, the assignment was, who is your champion? Academics, there it is. So think of academic, athletics, teachers, coaches, somebody, some mentor type figure. Doris's example was her physical therapist when she got in a car accident. Perfect example. But try to use one of the quotes to strengthen the response. And you can use one of these that I gave you. In her lecture, Rita Pearson argued that. In Pearson's speech, she said that. In the speech, every kid needs a champion. Rita Pearson made the argument that to introduce the quote. Okay, does everybody understand what I'm asking you to do? The challenge is to use the quote in your writing. That's the tough one, and I'm challenging you all to do it. If you understand what I'm asking you to do, say absolutely nothing. Perfect. I knew it. See, I'm the best teacher. You all understand. Okay. All right, here we go. We're going into small groups. Everybody practice using one of her quotes. All right. We'll do 3 breakout rooms. Here we go.
In the Korean
Mm-hmm.
in the Korean culture, when you are working, you need to use special shoes, and you need to like don't use that shoes for your home, or you don't use that shoes for running or your ski shoes. You need to carry like 3 different shoes per day, because Korean people, they are moving every single time. They are not lazy people. They are not taking breaks. They are working so hard for her experience. And we were talking about food because I'm having the opportunity to learn about Italy culture and Italian people, because I'm working in an Italian restaurant.
You work at the Prudential building?
Exactly, yes, sir.
Oh, I know exactly
In
where you're
Italy,
talking about. That big place
in
that's 2
Italy,
floors. Yeah, I
yes,
know.
it's
I've been
two
there. Yeah,
floors.
yeah, yeah.
It's so big, and
Mhm.
I can feel like in Italy because you can see every Italian food, Italian people,
Mhm.
Italian culture, and I'm learning about them, about Italian people, and it's very nice. Her culture and her language as well, because for Spanish it's a little easy in the pronunciation and to learn some words. It's very easy.
Can you give us an example of working, because you're from Colombia. working at an Italian business in the
Yes.
US. Can you give us an example of a cultural difference?
Yes, yes, of course.
That'd be great.
Yes, in my country, it's not usually like to cook lamb.
Hmm.
um, and Italian people love lamb for everything, and not just lamb and rabbits.
Mm.
In my country, a rabbit is a pet,
Mhm.
and I was a little shy when was my first time to try rabbit food. It's a special, like a small ravioli,
Mhm.
but it tastes good. But my first experience, I was afraid, I was shy, I was like thinking about the rabbits, about the nature, and for like USA people, like North American people, I love your culture here in
Mhm.
Boston because you are so educated and you have the permission to do everything with with passion. I don't know if you understand me.
Not quite. The permission to do everything?
Yes, yes, with passion. For example, here you can get lamb, you can get oysters because we are near to the beach. We
Oh,
can
okay.
get big fishes, black sea bass. We have everything to do that.
Okay. Okay. So you're talking about the variety of food that we can get here in in a big city like in the Northeast. So yeah, we're close to
Exactly.
you're close to the ocean, so we could, yeah, nice.
And with Italian brand as well.
All right. So I'd say that might not be the difference in food would be definitely be cultural differences. Um, I think some of the things you're talking about are here's a word you could use. Um, uh, you're talking about availability. So there we go. So you're talking about the availability of certain commodities. Commodities are certain goods we can buy in stores, and you're talking about the availability of certain things you can get here.
Yes, you are right. Because if you want Italian Coke, you can get Italian Coke, Italian
Yes.
parties. Yes, yes, teacher.
Yep. I know what you mean. All right. Now I know exactly who you were talking about with a shoe story. Gracie, did he get your story right about changing shoes in Korea?
Partially,
Okay,
partially.
tell the rest of the story.
It's like, in Korea, in the office, you have three shoes. You have a comfortable shoes like slipper, like if you are at home. You
Mhm.
have the shoes that you wear to go to the office, and you have the sneaker that you wear after lunch.
Mm.
And when you finish the lunch, you wear your sneaker and you go to walk. 30 minutes, if you have time, you can walk more because they never go to sleep or be sitting after lunch
Mm.
because it's not healthy. They are not fat. They take care of their health.
Mhm.
And it's interesting. They have the teeth brush in the desk.
Toothbrush at the desk.
Yes, you come in all the desk, you see the teeth brush. Oh my God, because and they are brushing their teeth in their desk, and everyone coming room to the bathroom when they finishing. It's crazy. It's like, oh my God.
Wait, Doris, tell me if I'm wrong. That's kind of normal in Brazil, right? To brush your teeth in the middle of the day.
Yes.
At the desk.
In my country too, in Cape Verde too.
Oh my
Because we
God.
have time.
No, 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 no. No, but the question is at the desk or in the restroom.
No,
No, no.
no.
So well, I remember I was teaching in a school, lots of Brazilian students. I'd come in to work and I would see about 4 or 5 guys in the restroom brushing their teeth And I thought, whoa, what's going on here? And I learned that's perfectly normal in
Mhm.
Brazil to brush your teeth and like several times a day and just have your toothbrush ready. Like in a public restroom, you'll see men and women just brush. Okay, well, just okay.
Same
Just
here.
finished work. It's time to brush my teeth again. Okay, perfectly normal. But this is like another. This I think Doris is confirming, yes, Brazil, and you said, and Cape Verde, just brush your teeth in the middle of the day at any public restroom, perfectly normal.
Yeah.
So, you know, Americans will think, oh, wow, this guy must be homeless
Really? Oh
because
my God.
we do this to us. Brushing our teeth or flossing our teeth is like a thing you do at home. It's just the way our
Okay.
brain, it's part of our culture. But the more I think about it, it's probably good to brush your teeth several times a day. I like it now that I thought about it a little bit. But what Gracie is talking about, it's normal to brush your teeth at your desk at work.
Yes, but you don't finish at the desk, but they start at the desk and we are talking and they are talking to you with the, you
So
say,
wait,
oh my
so do they
God.
have like a cup to spit at the desk or what?
Yes, and no, they
Wow.
go to, no, they have, but they go to the bathroom when they are finishing. I don't know how they do
So
that,
like,
but
so
it's,
you see somebody get some work done at their desk and then they start brushing your teeth and then they'll get up and they'll have their toothbrush and their cup to spit.
and then finish in the bathroom.
That's, I love it. I love it.
Crazy.
I love it. I love it. That's great.
But
That's a great cultural difference.
something interesting,
Morning. Hi, how you doing?
yes, and they wash the hair in the morning because they don't want to look like Chinese.
Hmm.
Because they don't like each other. They said the Chinese, they have the culture, they don't wash their hair in the morning because I don't remember what they think about, but they say, if you want to see if we are different, we wash the hair in the morning.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think it's no in China, it's no like people will go to get their hair washed at a like every corner. Most street corners will have a place to go get your hair washed. And I don't think it would be normal to do it in the morning. It's kind of like at the end of the day, you go get your hair washed.
It's interesting, different
So
culture.
Koreans, you said morning is the time to wash the hair.
No, they wash every time, but they said, you know, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese, they don't like that you confuse each other, you know? They said,
Of
no, I am
course.
Chinese. No, I
Of
am
course.
Japanese or I am
Yeah.
Korean. They always try to identify something that you can see that they are different.
Of course, certainly. Interesting. So I set myself apart from the Canadians as much and Mexicans as much as I can. I'm just kidding. um, let's see. Any more cultural differences? Workplace cultural differences we can think of. So we heard from Christian, Doris, Gracie, Monica. Can you share any cultural differences working in the US or Israel? I'll take that as a no. All right. So,
I have a question.
yes,
Maybe,
Christian.
but maybe Grace knows. What about the sticks or like the utensils to eat? Why they use los palitos, the
Are you talking
sticks?
about chopsticks?
The
Thank you.
chopstick,
What is the word? Yes. What is the word?
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks. Okay.
That's not I don't think Koreans could claim that. That's a lot of East Asian cultures use
yes,
chopsticks.
yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll give you you want to hear some you want to I'll show you something an interesting different cultures have different customs for eating. In the Philippines, they don't use chopsticks, but they will use a spoon and a fork. and they'll use a spoon the way Americans will use a knife. Like a spoon
Oh,
has a
wow.
kind of a sharp edge to it. They'll cut meat with a spoon the way Americans would use a knife to cut a spoon. Let me see. In eh, the city I used to live in China had a large West African community, and I was when I was doing some reporting in those days. Let me see if I could find it. Um, hold on a second. I just happened. Okay, here we go.
My husband has a Indian coworkers,
Yeah.
and he said that when they took lunch together, the Indian people can share the food with their hands, like
Mhm.
Yes.
take
Yeah.
take
Oh,
take
yes,
a
yes.
take a little bit from your
Uh-huh.
plate and chew it, no, or eat it. So
Okay,
Yes, we
and
used
it's
to do
always
that.
the
it is
right hand and only the right hand. Am I right?
it
Yes,
is
only
it is
one.
it is
Yes.
weird for us because we are like very proper with using the fork, a knife, or a spoon, and we're not used to share the food like this. Just if you want to share, you can ask, or you can give, but the Indian people is like, take,
Mm,
oh, I want to try it, and like is like very very funny at the same time.
nice. I figured it out. This is what I wanted to show everybody. Okay, so this is a younger version of me. This is me about 11 or 12 years ago. I was doing some work when I was living in Guangzhou. I interviewed I still keep in touch with this guy. He's a professor, wrote about the African diaspora in South China. And he is from Ghana. Many people from this part of West Africa have a food called fufu, and it's like a sticky dough that you eat with your hands. But take a look at this.
Yes, we can eat
Have you had it, Gracie?
meat.
Okay, so tell everybody what is the so this is like it's like a sticky bread. It's almost
Yes,
like dough.
it
And
is.
then
Uh,
yeah,
you can eat in your with your hands. With
right,
the
right.
another thing, um, sometimes meat.
Mhm.
Yes,
Right. So in this culture,
soup.
if so this is an African restaurant in China. So the restaurant owner was accommodating African clientele. For them, it would be weird for most Chinese, you use chopsticks, but for the Africans, if you're eating that food, the proper way to eat it is to use your right hand and have this bowl of water right here. Tell us why, Gracie.
You said
Because it's sticky. So you dip a little your hand, you take a little piece of the fufu, which is like a sticky bread. It's a combination of flour, cassava, a few other things. It's a
Water.
starchy food. And then you dip that in the sauce and the meat.
Yes.
And then once you're finished, you rinse your fingers. So
I don't know why.
in this culture, that's the way you do it. Why would Americans use a knife and fork?
Yeah.
So here's anyway. So there we go. So yes, for the proper way to eat this dish for this culture is to have 3 bowls, one for just water to rinse your fingers, and one for the dish, and then one for the starchy food. Anyway, so yes, I don't know how we got caught up with food, but yeah. So yeah, when you work in another country, sometimes dining out or having lunch with your colleagues can be an adventure. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Are these people going to think I'm a weirdo? That's all part of life. Anyway, let me, we're going to wrap things up today, and I'm going to show, so there's the vocabulary list. Get familiar with these words. Here is, this is what I'm saying. Okay. Here's the next assignment. So we're going to see how this American adapts to French culture and at her job. We're going to learn why there is a law in France that forbids people to eat lunch at the same place where they're working. And here's what I wrote in the prompt. So, after listening to the podcast, when eating at your desk is forbidden, describe some of the reasons that France's labor laws pertaining to lunch breaks come from the Industrial Revolution. So, in France, they're very strict laws about having lunch separate from where you're doing your work. It actually comes from the Industrial Revolution. And if you don't know what that is, I'll teach you next time. See you next time. All right. We're going to call it a day.
Bye, teacher.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay,
Have a
bye.
great
Thank
day,
you so
everyone.
much.
Stay dry. It's wet out there.
Bye, thank
Bye-bye.
you.